for the County Executive of Samburu for the financial year 2023 to 2024. Management responses and accompanying annexures for the report of the Auditor General on the audited financial statements on the receiver of revenue for the County Executive of Samburu for the financial year 2023-2024.
Okay, Auditor General, have you looked at the report and are you able to advise us?
Thank you, Chair. We received the management responses and the accompanying annexures from the management on 10th of June 2025 for the two reports. So we've taken time to do verification and we are ready to proceed. Thank you.
And did management respond to our detailed recommendations or they responded to the fiduciary risks report? Because I believe that, Governor, is this your response? Is this your management response? Yes. What is the header there? Governor, if you may just read it for us.
Management action on fiduciary risk exposure for the County Executive of Samburu for the financial year 2023-2024.
Maybe you may talk to the mic so that I can hear you.
Yeah, your voice is very low.
Really sorry. Management action on fiduciary risks exposure for the County Executive of Samburu for the financial year 2023-2024.
So, Auditor General, was management responding to the fiduciary risks report or to our detailed recommendation?
Thank you, Chair. We went through their responses and indeed they responded to the detailed report. The heading could be misleading only. Thank you.
So the heading is misleading because you had two reports. You had the fiduciary analysis and then you had the detailed recommendations.
Yes, Chair. We advised them that they are responding to the whole report of the committee. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, fine. Clerk of the Senate?
Yes, Chair. We received the responses on the 10th of June as per our instructions.
Now, the challenge I'll have with you, Auditor General, with that statement you've made, is that in your briefing notes, and since I'm the one who sent the fiduciary risk report, I'm quite familiar with it because it was a report that had a fiduciary amount to every risk. Operational commercial bank accounts in your briefing notes is not addressed, and I can see it is omitted from the county's response. And if it's omitted, it's because we did not quantify it in the fiduciary risk report. So, once again, I put the question to you. Is the county responding to the fiduciary risks exposure or to the detailed recommendation? Those two are different, and you should know the difference. Or maybe we should put this to the county. Governor, we had two reports. We had the fiduciary risks report, which was a summary of the risks cutting across the 47 counties. Then we had a second report, volume 2, which had specific recommendations per county. Which of the two reports did you respond to?
Sure, I will let my CC Finance respond to that.
Yes, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. We responded to the second one, not the fiduciary. The management responded actions for the entire recommendation, and we got it from the website.
Okay, so if we go through, we'll be able to see all the issues that were unaddressed.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Unless there's any other observation, Senator Dulo, you could go on record. Then we can proceed. Please give Senator Dulo the mic.
Madulo, Senator, is a member of this committee.
So before we proceed, from the County Assembly, because you are the primary overseers, could you tell us whether you have considered this report and whether you have submitted anything for adoption by your fellow members? Honorable Chair. Sergeant at Arms, you assist the chair of the Public Accounts Committee with a microphone.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, last year we are here, and I said that we had a very big backlog from the County Assembly of Samburu, but as we stand, we make a good progress because we interrogated 28 reports, including these ones which are before the committee. So we have interrogated and tabled to the House for adoption. That is the position as per the report, Honorable Chair.
Did your clerk find their way in the room? The clerk of your committee, are they in the room? You said you are accompanied by 2 members and a clerk.
Yeah, clerk is.
Where's the clerk of the Assembly Committee?
It's members only. I think still you have not got the space.
Yeah, because we must, and Sergeant at Arms, we invited the County Assembly because we needed to have a conversation with them, so they need to be in the room. Find a way for them to be in the room. Because I need to refer you, Mr. Chair, to Article 2298, which says, within 3 months after receiving an audit report, Parliament or the County Assembly shall debate and consider the report and take appropriate action. What we did as a Senate is that within the 3 months, we interrogated the reports. We asked the entities in some cases to do self-reporting. And then we analyzed their reports and took to the House for consideration. Correct. Now, whatever you're planning to do is outside the constitutional timelines. I hope you're understanding me, Chair, because I think you have been with us in the past.
Yeah.
We need to be clear that your action as an assembly ought to be done within those 3 months, from January to March. Anything you do outside those timelines, you will be in a lot of problems. And I want to invite you to the decision of Justice Jairus Nga on a matter that involved the Nairobi City County Assembly. They made a decision outside the timelines, someone went to court, and the court declared that decision to be null and void. Now, we must put pressure on you, members of County Assembly, because if the Senate can comply with 47 counties, what about you with only 1 county executive? What is the problem?
Chair, we have a lot of challenges in county assemblies, especially to the current financial year, taking into account that county assembly budgets have been cut. So, because the report of the members, the executive have been here before the committee on December, but facilitation have taken a long time because of the county assembly not having facilitation for to do the same work.
Well, you are not the one who we call to interrogate today. We are just giving this as advice, that whatever I've read comes from the Constitution. And you'll realize that you don't need millions, tens of millions to conduct this exercise. All you need is knowledge of the law. So we must encourage you, because the Senate cannot do everything. County assemblies are complaining that the Senate is taking away their duties, but the county assemblies are also not doing what they are supposed to do. There are many questions here that should have been addressed at the county assembly rather than in Nairobi at the Senate. So I hope your clerk is in the room and has taken note, and that when you go back to Samburu, we'll do some research, liaise with the staff, with the clerks of the Senate, so that you can get guidance to ensure that you are within the constitutional timelines.
Thank you. Noted.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you feel free, and maybe from time to time we'll be asking you if there are projects that are of a grassroots nature that you can help us to understand. So, members, can we go to the report of the Auditor General, starting with the report on the executive? We will ask the Auditor General to read what they had reported. We will then read our recommendation.
I've not gone on record.
Sorry, Senator Chiragi.
I've not gone on record.
Oh, sorry. We've been together since morning. I hadn't noticed.
Then I'm doing badly that you are getting used to me.
Please go on record.
Kiprotich is my name, Senator of the Republic of Kenya from Nandi County. At least today SAMBURU has appeared, so I'm ready to stay up to midnight, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome, Senator. So, Auditor General, starting with the first issue, unsupported cash and cash equivalents.
Thank you, Chair. Question on unconfirmed cash and cash equivalents. On page 2 of our report, the statement of assets and liabilities and note 13A to the financial statements reflects cash and cash equivalents of Kenya shillings 142,476,191. However, bank reconciliations for one bank account reflects receipts in the cash book not recorded in the bank statement, totaling Kenya shillings 102,198,283. No explanation was provided on why the receipts had not been banked as at 30th June 2024. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the cash and cash equivalents balance of Kenya shillings 142,476,191 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Clerk of the Senate, what was the recommendation?
Chairman, the committee recommended that the Office of the County Governor undertakes administrative action against responsible officers who fail to provide documents to the auditors. The second one, we recommended that
just for us, order, the auditor's brief does not have a recommendation. Where do we find the recommendation? In the files before us. Okay, you can proceed.
The second one, I'll summarize. We recommended that ISPAC undertakes disciplinary procedures under Section 32 and 33 of the Accountants Act, Cap 531. The last one, the committee advised the head of Treasury to be diligent and adhere to the provided accounting standards.
Governor, what action have you taken since then?
Shall I allow my CC for Finance to read the actions we take?
Chair, is it okay if I read the response first?
Yes, you will need to read the response, but remember it is a governor under oath, and if your intention is for the CC to do everything, then she'll be put under oath.
Great, no problem. Chair, the amount in question relate to monies borrowed from our deposit accounts from financial year 2014 to 2022. Bank reconciliation in questions have been done. Annex 1. Approval of 25 bank accounts are failed, Annex 2, and bank certificates provided, Annex 3. The management has also instituted the following measures. All accountants are mandated to prepare and submit all bank reconciliation on monthly basis. Due process, number 2, due process as provided by law is adhered to while opening all bank accounts. Number 3, bank certificates are sought for all bank accounts at the closure of the financial year or whenever required. And number 4, all documents are well maintained all times, Annex 4. Those are the actions taken.
Auditor General, what's your report?
Thank you, Chair. We can confirm that the management has provided an extract of the cash book and bank reconciliations that were confirming the receipts recorded in the cash book, not recorded in the bank statements, which refer to the borrowings. The county executive had made the deposit account. However, the amount in question has not been settled. That is what we still have as outstanding. And the recommendations, the action plan, which is futuristic, Chair, with these ones we shall confirm when we shall be doing our audit, which is starting on Monday. Whatever mitigation measures that they have given, we are going to confirm whether it is true they are doing the bank reconciliations on a monthly basis, and whether all the required documentation that they have said will be in place, and the directives that they will be giving to the finance department, whether it is true. But still, the issue remains that the amount has not been settled, Chair.
We made our recommendation on the assumption that in the self-reporting, the county had done the reconciliations and the whole amount in question had been settled. Now, OAG, you say the whole amount in question has not been settled. How much is settled and how much is outstanding?
Thank you, Chair. This money was, the monies were being borrowed from the deposit account, Chair. So the amount in question has not been settled, Chair.
The full amount or
the full amount?
partial?
The full amount in question, Chair.
Which is how much?
That is 102, Kenya shillings 102,198,283, Chair.
When you say 100 million has not been settled, what do you mean? Is it that the money was stolen?
Chair, because these were issues which appeared in the bank statements as payments made in the cash, payments which were reflected in the cash book, and also reflected in the bank statements, but were not recorded in the cash book, Chair. So that is the whole amount that we are requesting.
Speak English. I don't want you to speak accountant speak. 102 million, if it has not been settled, is this a reconciliation problem or it is money that has left the organization without accountability?
Thank you, Chair. It is a reconciliation problem, Chair.
Is there loss of funds?
Until, Chair, the reconciliation has been fully settled, that's when we can say now for sure whether there is any money lost, because the reconciliation tells us that this amount is still outstanding, which appears in the bank statements but were not recorded in the cash book.
Auditor, you must decide what you want to tell this committee. Before reconciliation is done, then you cannot confirm that the money is there. You cannot say that until reconciliation is done is when you'll tell whether the money is lost. What is the need? What is the necessity for the reconciliation? Isn't it to confirm that the money has not been lost?
Indeed, Chair. That is true, Chair.
So
that is the meaning. That is the work of the reconciliation.
So tell us in plain English, what are we dealing with here? A bookkeeping issue or a borrowing from deposit accounts that has led to loss of public funds?
Chair, even as the auditor responds, the management response has indicated that bank reconciliations in question have already been done as per Annex 1. Have you cited Annex 1? And are those reconciliations valuable in answering to this query?
Auditor, you are not the one to answer questions. So, if you cannot establish something, tell us so that the governor can respond. What do we make of 102 million? It is not your duty to account for it. It is your duty to tell us your view, and then we ask the governor to account for it.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. If you refer to the report of the Auditor General, page 2, it says that the statement of assets and liabilities are note 13.1 to the financial statement reflects cash and cash equivalents, balance of 142,476,191. However, the reconciliations, bank reconciliations for one bank account reflects receipts in the cash book, not recorded in the bank statement, totaling to Kenya shillings 102,198,283. So no explanation was provided as to why the receipts are not been banked as at 30 June 2024, Chair. These are the amounts that is in question, which has not been settled, Chair. And that's why we wanted maybe the
When you say it has not been settled, what do you mean? Because a plain reading here, you are saying there was a receipt that was not recorded in the bank statement, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
And you are saying no explanation was provided on why the receipts had not been banked. When you have a receipt that has not been banked, is that a reconciliation problem? or that is theft? And please, this is not your question.
Yes, Chair.
Just give us guidance and let the governor respond.
Yes, I agree with you, Chair. And that since now the amount was reflected in the cash book and not in the bank statement, then it appears the money had not been banked, Chair. And that is the issue that we have as outstanding.
So if the money has not been banked, it has been received and it has not been banked, therefore, what conclusion do we draw?
Now is the county now to explain.
No, Auditor. If money has been received in the cash book but not recorded in the bank statement, is that just a bookkeeping error, or that means that that money is lost?
Chair, that's why we say that we cannot establish.
Patrick, with tremendous respect to the OAG, you are becoming the advocates of the county rather than being our technical advisors. Tell me in plain English that you have seen the receipts reflected in the cash book, they are not recorded in the bank statement. Why do you want them recorded in the bank statement?
Chair, I beg your pardon, Chair.
You have said you have receipts in cash book, but they are not in the bank statement, isn't it?
True, Chair.
Why should they be in the bank statement?
Thank you, Chair. So that now you can have a complete transaction, and the P give us an assurance
so
that the money...
if they are not in the bank statement,
yes,
so the transaction is not complete. So where would the money be if it's in the cash book and not in the bank statement?
By the entity now, with the entity, Chair. Because it's not in the bank.
Have you been able to trace it anywhere else? Like it has been spent at source?
No, Chair.
So where is the money?
Now we want them now.
Now, Governor, our interpretation is that you have a receipt in the cash book, not recorded in the bank statement. Therefore, there is 102,198,000 that cannot be accounted for. How do you explain that?
I will let my CFO and my CC Finance respond to that.
Yeah, please, just go straight to the point on why that money is not in the bank statement and where that money is.
Thank you, Chair. As stated by the Governor initially, this relates to borrowing, money borrowed from 2014 to 2022, but have not yet been refunded back to the deposit account.
Borrowed?
Yes.
From where?
From the deposit account.
By who?
By the county government, the previous administration. They borrowed 1 or 2 million.
The county government is in perpetuity, so don't make those kind of references.
So as county now, we have managed to allocate like 30 million to refund back that cash as progressively.
So what are you saying? You're the chief officer?
Yes.
So are you saying that that money was borrowed and not refunded?
Yes.
What do you mean by borrowing? Is it going to the account and withdrawing the money and not banking it back?
Yeah, that's basically what it means.
So 102 million was withdrawn from the accounts of SAMBURU,
yes,
retention account, and not refunded?
Yes.
But Chair, it's also fair to say this is 2014.
No, that's okay.
I was not the governor, they were not there.
That's okay.
That's also fair.
You are now the governor of SAMBURU.
No, but I was not there.
No, it's
also fair to say that.
No, it's not material.
It is fair to state that I was not there.
Yes, you can say it, but it is not material. It does not take away your responsibility.
It will,
Chair,
Senator Cherargei.
the government exists in perpetuity. You inherit both assets and liabilities. That's the law. So the fact that somebody is in office, governor, the current governor in office, whether he was there or not there, it is immaterial. He must answer the question. So we're asking, let me finish, the 102 million that belongs to the great people of Samburu, where was it used? The CEO said 30 million is being borrowed to be put back to deposit account. So we need to see trace that money. Because the fact that it cannot be proved that it was banked was lost. And I think OAG is just fearing to say that.
Now, OAG,
sir, allow me to say something.
I'll allow you to say something. You see, the response of the county government, actually, I want to thank the county government for exposing this. Because this is what you should be querying, OAG, instead of telling us this is a reconciliation matter or a bookkeeping matter. This is outright theft of 102 million. And we need to know who did it. Whether you are there or not, someone must take responsibility for it. This is the reason why the EACC sits here. It is unacceptable for people to go in and take 102 million and disappear with it. Honorable members, just last week we were struggling to add 400 million, 405 million to SAMBURU. It goes to SAMBURU, it is withdrawn in a sack, and nothing happens. The auditor tells us it is a reconciliation problem. This is unacceptable. Patrick, I think on that, I think the advice I'm getting from you is not sufficient to help us establish the gravity of the situation.
Chairman, I agree with you completely. But remember, Chairman, the comments I made in the morning, in the language of audit, maybe something that we need to look at internally as an office, and also considering what this committee has said in the past about implementing the rest of the sections of Public Audit Act 63 to 68, where matters can be referred to other entities, not just being reported on.
No, thankfully, the county has shed light on it, and they have not minced words. 102 million was looted. I think borrowed is not the right word. Looted.
Chair,
from the deposits account.
Chair, from the reading, okay, from the deposit account. But my reading is different. That the last statement, no explanation was provided on why the receipts had not been banked. So there are some receipts that have not been banked. It is different from borrowing from a deposits account and paying to some other account. My just reading is, Auditor, is it true that you are seeing some receipts which were not banked? And so it was from the source to the bank in between. That's why the money was lost. Or is it true? Because if it was true that it was borrowed from a deposit account, then that evidence would have been shown that this money is emanating from some deposit account to wherever it went to. So there has to be a distinction.
Chairman, the issue of reconciliation will be between the deposit account and maybe the main account. But what the Honorable Senator has said about the failure to bank receipts, that is quite different, Chairman. That money is unaccounted for.
When we talk of deposit account, we are referring to the deposit and retentions.
Yes, Chairman.
Is that the case, Governor? It's a deposit and retentions account from where you are supposed to pay suppliers. So if the money has been looted, how have you been able to pay the suppliers whose payments have fallen due?
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, it's just good to note that these are two transactions. There were monies that were received from the suppliers but were never banked. Then there was some money.
Wait a minute. Received from suppliers?
Yes, but not banked.
But never banked?
Yes. And then there was money borrowed from the said account. So those are two transactions we're trying to
the first one, how do you have money from suppliers and not banked? I mean, how does that work?
Okay. First, I want just to put a disclaimer that we've not done it during our administration. But
no, now that you have said that is what happened, just describe what happened.
Now we deduct, of course, the funds from the suppliers, but the money is diverted to do maybe something else than going back to that account.
So those are unremitted deductions?
Unremitted deductions.
Are they then remitted to private accounts or they are transferred to other activities in the organization?
Because of the exchequer releases, they were transferred to other activities. So I think, Chair, maybe what I wanted to speak upon is because last time this question has been recurring year in, year out, and there was a direction given to us by the last Senate last time that what we do as we reconcile this money, we keep following the trail of reconciling this money, we budget some money to refund the suppliers.
But what happens to the persons who stole 102 million?
We are still reconciling. It's way back since 2014.
I want to answer to the person.
On a point of order, you want to say the former governor went away with all the documents when he left office?
No.
Then don't give us that, Chairman. We are tired. I was not there. We were not there. What nonsense is that?
Governor, I don't think you would have given directions different from...
First of all, say that's not nonsense. I was an MP in this parliament in 2014, Senator Saragay. So it's not humanly possible that they can, government really exists in perpetuity. That is true. You might be a governor someday. You cannot tell
Governor,
me
please address the chair and the issue that is before you.
Yeah, but I'm just, we're human beings. This thing happened in 2014. 2014, I want to state this, 2014, I was a member of parliament here. I was not a governor. It is humanly impossible for me to know who took the money. What I would expect from the Senate is to comment on what to do with the person who took the money. I'm just like you. If there's something you can do about the person who took this money, I'm with you 100%.
Who is the CEO of SAMBURU? Is it the Senate or the governor before us?
Governor before us.
Yes, that is a responsibility.
A human being who was not there in 2014.
That is a responsibility of the CEO.
Chair.
I cannot be responsible for something in 2014.
Senator Lelelit.
Chair, I just wanted to ask this question to the auditor. In that actions taken by management read by the governor, that Mr. Chair, the amount in the question relates to monies borrowed from our deposit account from financial year 2014 to 2022. Is that your position as auditors?
Thank you, Chair. Our position as auditors is that as the 30th June 2024, 102,281,814 was recorded in the bank reconciliation as receipts, but it was not in the bank account. So it could be cumulatively as at that date. Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
Let me ask again.
Annex 1. Annex 1 was to speak to that question of 2014 to 2021. But when you go through Annex 1, as attached in that document, maybe the auditor or the county should take us through, because I can see dates as from 2022, 2024, 2023. So what does that document answer, or what does that document tell us about that first statement?
Chair.
Proceed.
Yeah, who was governor in December 2022? It was the same thing. Yes, something. Yeah.
This maybe I'll refer to head of treasury to make clarification on that, because it relates directly to him.
Chief Officer, why are you unable to answer that question?
This relates to reconciliation issues.
Yes, you are the Chief Officer. Aren't you a signatory to these financial statements?
Yes, I am.
Yes, so what's the difficulty in answering a question that relates to the financial statements for which you are paid to ensure that they are accurate?
As I said initially, these are borrowings. They are 1 or 2 million from 2014 to 2022 financial year cumulatively. Yes.
Are you able to do a schedule by financial year for us to be able to see that in 2014 we borrowed 30, in 2017 we borrowed 20? Is that available?
For now,
Chair, you know me, I'm not an accountant. I just wanted to be clear so that you make me understand. Borrowing for me as a lay person is you go and borrow, okay? But what is at hand, following from her, you are saying this is money you have received and you cannot tell us where it went. Are we clear? So is that borrowing or that is misappropriation? Because if you borrow, that's, you're using a very soft word. This one is simply money that is supposed to be traced to where it has gone, but we are not able to get answers.
And Chair, in our last meeting, the governor said these monies were borrowed and is not ready to budget in the next budget cycle. he accepted that money was withdrawn and it was not deposited back, and he was not ready to budget for that money because he believed that this money was stolen.
So Chair, we can't mix.
Well, sir, from the finance CC, I think there was some recommendation from the Senate here that we continue. Please say.
Thank you. Through the chair, it's just good to note that we took the recommendation of the Senate to budget for that money, and we've budgeted in the current financial year. It is in our current 2025-2026 budget. We've budgeted for that amount with the direction of the Senate.
You see, the problem is that your chief officer says that this money is cumulative to 2022. Now, the first question we must ask ourselves is whether the practice still continues. For your information, borrowings are sanctioned in law, but there is a procedure. Are we on the same page? Is that accurate? CC, that you can do borrowings, but there's a procedure. There must be an approval. Was there a procedure followed, or were there approvals that were sought? Because the requesters and approvers are then the people we are going to deal with.
Okay, from the documentation, the documentations are scanty, and we are trying to build up that file. It is quite hectic. We can't even trace the documentation, and that's why we had requested for more time. We reconcile that account and bring the people who misappropriated the money. Because when we try to get which date or which month or year this money was misappropriated, it's quite hard at the moment.
Yes, you see. Isn't this the kind of things you are established to deal with?
Yes, Chair. This is the kind of issue that would be for investigation, because be able to look into the transfer of the funds, the flow, how it was used, and who is the recipient.
Senator Muruma?
Chair, just because I'm not an accountant, help me understand. This Annex Appendix 1, and that question has been asked by Dr. Lelelit, but it has not been responded to. What does Annex 1 explain, speak to? Because we are seeing transactions and payments in the cash book, not in the bank statement, which are up to June 2024. What are they supposed to explain? Because they're saying what was happening here and the reconciliation problems was supposed to be from 2014 to 2022. Why are we having this annex here? Just explain. That Appendix 1, what is it about?
Annex 1.
Not the management, yes.
Annex 1 as
Appendix 1.
Annex 1 is unpresented check. Payments in cash book not yet recorded in the bank statement. That means that we have our cash book now here is IFMIS. The monies were deducted from IFMIS but not paid to the bank. So it means that these funds were diverted to do other activities.
Chair.
Senator Chirage?
Lotirok Solomon, what is your ISPAC number?
23327.
27. Are you in good standing with ISPAC?
Yes.
Kalul Joseph, Head of Director of Accounting Services, what is your ISPAC number? 6711. So, Governor, you are saying you were not there before 2022. But from your annexures, and I want to put it to you, to prove that you spend money at source, in your annexure, I think annexure 1, payments in cash book, not in bank statement. From 50 December 2022, I want to believe you are the governor of SAMBURU then. All through up to 2024. This money, Chair, either was spent as the source or was misappropriated, because even the number of companies that have been paid from 5th December 2022, from 39,000 all through to, let me see, that is around 13 million. Then you go to borrowings in the bank, that is 13.7 million. From Falam Construction Company Limited from 1.1 to 194. Governor, this money was likely to be spent on the source. Is it true or false?
That's one I can't say. This is my opinion. If this, from the chairman, if somebody did not bank the money and misappropriated them, ACC is here. I want to agree with the chairman. That's your job. Please get these people
Chair,
and prosecute them.
why is the governor taking over your role?
I have not taken his role. I'm just saying I agree with him.
Answer, just
I'm agreeing with him, not taking his role. Please.
Governor, let's be orderly. I'm the one giving directions in this meeting.
I have asked a simple question,
Senator
Governor,
Chirarke?
that I put it to you that this money was spent at source, which is irregular and illegal, and therefore this money was lost. Do you agree with me? No, why are you pointing, Chair? In the evidence capacity, my senior counsel will tell you that the witness can be hostile. I think the witness now is hostile.
And Chair, I think what Senator Charage is referring to 2024. He's referring to
2022 to 2024. 2024. You are the governor. We have agreed with you. Let us note you are with us in the last session, so we are now on your term from 5th December 2022.
The brief I have from my accounting officers,
yes,
all of them,
yes,
is that this money was from 2014 to 2022. 2022 runs, remember when the elections were done? The elections were done in August, meaning the year of 2022.
When were you sworn in?
2022.
What is September?
No, not in September. 25th August.
25th August. So in 5th December you are in office.
All I'm saying, if there is anything, and I wanted to agree with the chairman, we have people here who will follow up with these people.
So you suspect your own staff of being
if they're there, please,
money?
they should, ACC, take care.
Senator,
we are not making only
the CEO. What about command responsibility?
He was the chair of EACC or Komokongo. There is what you call abuse of office. Abuse of office is when the buck stops at you and you do nothing about your job.
I think
if there is a mess governor by EACC, it includes you. Because you didn't exercise your authority as the chief executive officer. You are the only, under the Constitution of Republic of 2010, governor has an executive power, unlike the president. So don't run away. You will be part of the mess if EACC has to come, because that's abuse of office for not doing your job.
I agree with you. I'm ready for that.
Senator Dulo.
Senator Dulo. I think we are taking a lot of time on this matter. And from the discussion we are hearing, some of the documents cannot be traced. So the best thing to do is refer this matter to DCI and EACC so that we can proceed.
It is easy to make referrals for convenience, but you never get action done. You would want to pursue the people who disappeared with 1 or 2 million, but on the other hand, you'd ask, this money was due to suppliers. What is going to happen to them? So yes, we have agreed that the people who stole 1 or 2 must be pursued. Now, the action that you must provide, Governor, is how do you ensure this money comes back so that they are paid to suppliers when it becomes due? Governor?
I think I said earlier, and if my memory keeps me well, from this Senate committee, there was a recommendation made. I don't have the exact details, but my CC has them, that we were allowed, as we were told as a county. Maybe you can continue because you have all the details.
Yeah, and if you're saying you have taken action, you must direct us to the evidence to support that.
We've budgeted the money as per your recommendation.
Do you have evidence to support that?
It is in the current budget that we are passing, I think.
Do you have an annexure of that, just an extract to confirm?
Budget was just tabled, so no, I don't think we can.
No, but I can provide.
Yeah, because members, I would not be worried about spending too much time on this, because I have not seen a situation where people steal 102 million from a deposit account. The county we dealt with yesterday, I think had a similar problem. But the figures were, what, 30-something million? I've not come across 102 million. And Senator Omogeni, this is not a borrowing. If it is a borrowing, there is a procedure in the PFM Act and Regulation. This is looting. This is outright theft of public resources.
Chair, who was the CEC in 2023 and in 2024, and who was the CCO? Governor, if you discover that the officers who are CCs and CCOs in 2023 and 2024 are seated here, what administrative action will you take against them moving forward? Or would you be comfortable continuing to work with them, because then you would be complicit?
Governor?
It's hard for me to just say what administrative action I'm going to take right here. But I promise you, let me just finish. But
are they here?
Which ones?
The CC and CCO.
Of which year?
2023 and 2024.
They're seated there, these two. Yeah. But I promise you that I agree with you that if anybody seated here or not seated here misappropriated the money, I want to agree with the chairman. They must be followed, they must be prosecuted, and the law will take its course. And that one I agree 100%.
Now, the third directive we are giving is Auditor General. You must assure us that this practice is not continuing, because Senator Cherargei has cited at some records that would give the impression that it is persistent until prevalent. It is easy to blame those who are not in office, but it is more important for those who are in office to take responsibility and ensure that that looting is not going on under their watch. We will expect, as you do your in-year audit, that in the 2024-2025 report, you will give us a detailed analysis of the deposits and retentions accounts and assure us that the budgets have been provided and the money has been reinstated, and there's been no further recurrence of the theft that has been there previously. Is that in line with your audit methodology?
Yes, Chair. Especially the deposit account, we shall do a deep analysis on the same, and also conduct the review of all the bank reconciliations that they'll be providing for the current year under review, Chair. We shall do that one.
So yes, you see, let this not be one of those things that take forever. You have a government that has admitted that this looks like theft. So let this not be one of those things that are going to take 6 months or 6 years, like some cases that we have in our matrix. This matter needs to be closed, and we need to provide an assurance. And indeed, Senator Lelelit, if we would have had this meeting before we approved the allocation of 400 million to SAMBURU, I would probably have had different ideas. There is no need for me to send 400 million more at the expense of Homa Bay, only for it to be spirited away by crooks inside the organization.
The governor denies that money was added under affirmative action. He denies that SAMBURU will not receive such amount of money in the social media pack in SAMBURU.
I have it recorded on social media, on record, that we thank the Senate through Senator Omogeni, who moved the motion that 414 million was added to 11 counties. Nyandaru added at the last point to be 12 counties. Thank you so much. And, I don't know what you're saying, Senator. You have to explain to me what you're saying. Because this thing is on record. I wrote it on Facebook. I thank this guy sitting here, a good friend of mine. Omogeni was my lawyer at some point when I was buying properties.
Governor, order. We don't rely on Facebook posts, and
but he said I do not agree.
So we are not going to pursue that path. Let's come back to the audit report.
No, but allow me to respond fully.
But Governor, just for the record, it's good now that you're here.
The entire Senate.
Thank everybody, including your Senate.
Thank you, the Senate, through the Senator. I moved motions when I was in Parliament, and there's always a mover of the motion.
Yes. So
some of us did nothing.
Senator Omogeni, can you inform him the amount SAMBURU was to receive in the first proposal?
Yeah, in fact, to be very honest, when I first moved the motion, Samburu was to get 115 million. But this senator here wanted to slaughter me on that day. He forced me to withdraw the motion and amend it to ensure that you get 405 through the effort of your senator. Yeah.
I think this is not part of this.
I'm just saying.
But you're the one who started talking about Facebook.
He started.
When you are put on a wall, you want to exit.
But
Governor, my good
all
friend.
counties are getting 415, not only Samburu.
The 11 counties.
Governor, you are an extremely
There's no way
ungrateful
Samburu
person.
would have been special to get 105 when everybody else is getting 150.
No.
Thank you,
It's only
Senate.
11
Thank you so
counties.
much. I think we should leave this.
11 counties. Of course, he knows the political implication if he says thank you to the area senator. But he's just running away.
We are not in these offices to love each other or to like each other, but we must love the people we serve. And if the senator has made a move that has taken more money to the county, give him his flowers. He has influenced that at the expense of other counties. But you don't have to love him, and he does not have to love you. And it's not our business to interfere in your affections. Our business is to ensure that we catch the people stealing money from Samburu. Honorable members, can we proceed? Auditor General, the issue of commercial bank accounts, you have included it as one of those issues that are outstanding, but I don't seem to see it in the response of the county executive. That's why I was asking what they were responding to. Has it been responded to, Auditor?
Not responded, Chair.
Governor? Operation of commercial bank accounts. Auditor, what was your query? Because what I have here on record is that there is no response. Can you read your query, and then we find out why it has not been responded to?
Okay, thank you, Chair. The query was on operation of commercial bank accounts. The statement of assets and liabilities and note 13A of financial statements reflects cash and cash equivalents balance of Kenya shillings 142,476,191 being bank balances for 15 special purpose accounts operated by the county executive. During the year under review, it was established that the county executive maintained another 25 active operation accounts that the count operation accounts in various commercial banks. However, the management did not provide the approval status of the accounts, dates when the bank accounts were opened, signatories of the bank accounts, certificate of bank balances as at 30 June 2024, and the dates when the county treasury granted approval for opening and operating the bank accounts. Further, the accounts were not disclosed under other important disclosures in the financial statements. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the cash and cash equivalents balance of Kenya shillings 142,476,191 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Clerk of the Senate, did we make a recommendation on this matter?
No, Chair, we did not make recommendation on this matter because it was not one of the issues that were outstanding as a thing.
But the report of the Auditor General here, my brief says it is not responded to.
Yes, Chair. It is not responding to these final responses that we are discussing now, Chair.
Was it responded to at the earlier, with the earlier written responses?
Yes, Chair.
So, did you get the approval status of the accounts? Dates when the bank accounts were opened, signatories, certificate of bank balances, etc. Did you get that information? And Governor, are these the 25 bank accounts which you have referred to in Annexure 2?
Through the Chair.
So Annexure 2 is it responding to this query?
Yeah, we had not availed during audit. We have availed it with the certificates as well.
Auditor, what is the status? You are the one who raised this. You asked these questions. Have they been responded to?
Yes, Chair, it was responded to. However, we had expected actually the county to include in the current response, but initially it was responded during the March responses that were given to us, Chair.
You got the supporting documentation?
Annexures, we got the annexures, Chair.
You got the bank certificates and did the authentication?
Yeah, and including the approval, Chair.
So that you can give us an assurance that this is resolved?
We can give an assurance, Chair.
Fine. So then let's proceed to the next outstanding issue. I think we will go to pending bills. Because budgetary control, exchequer releases, those are policy issues. Pending bills not paid as first charge.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The question is on pending bills not paid as the first charge. Note 20 under the other important disclosures to the financial statements reflect pending amounts payables and other pending accounts payables opening balances of Kenya shillings 465,119,507 and Kenya shillings 134,884,756 as outlined in Annex 2 and Annex 4 respectively. However, an amount of Kenya shillings 208,786,719 and Kenya shillings 132,535,604 in respect to pending accounts payables and other pending payables which should have been paid as the first charge was still outstanding at the end of the year under review. This was contrary to Regulation 41(2) of the PFM County Government's Regulations 2015, which states that debt service payments shall be first charge of a county revenue fund, and the accounting officer shall ensure that this is done to the extent possible that the county government does not default on debt obligations. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Thank you.
Governor, what have you done in response to the recommendations of the Senate?
The recommendations I have is prioritize payment of pending bills, ensure debt service payments are first charge. Share in the year.
The recommendation was much longer because it was pursuant to a motion that was adopted by the House. So I will not ask the clerk to read all the details. So just go to your response.
I have small summaries,
Yeah.
Share in the year under review, the pending bills amounting to 256,332,788 was settled by June 30th, 2024. The payment plan has been submitted to control budget in the current financial year, and the management will continue to pay the pending bills as a first charge. That's the action taken by management.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Evidence has been given under Annexure 5, A and B, that indeed 256,302,708 has been paid. However, the main issue which was here that they had not treated this debt as the first charge, to make a payment as a first charge for the outstanding pending bills which were there. That is during the 1st July 2024 when the financial year was starting, was not honored, Chair. However, a substantial amount has been paid, but still the first charge was not honored, which was the main question in this particular issue, Chair.
Auditor, you know your findings should also make sense. So if it's supposed to be first charge, then you expect that on the schedule, on the pending accounts payable schedule, settlement should also be on FIFO, isn't it?
It is, Chair. First in, first
so
out.
Have you attempted an aging analysis of the debt for us to know that of the amount paid of 256 million, they started with the earlier debt rather than the current debt? Because first charge, FIFO are somehow related principles.
I agree with you, Chair. The first debt should be actually the first one to be cleared, but we could not ascertain on the same chair. It's only that we have a cumulative figure which was paid in the year under during the year under review. So that one we cannot promise, Chair, that what we established, that the FIFO principle was applied, Chair.
Yeah, because I've seen you query that in other counties, that there was no aging of the debt, So you had no visibility on how long some debt had been outstanding. But even when you tell us you are satisfied with the settlement, you must also satisfy us that we don't have debts of 2013, 2014, as we saw in some other county today in the morning.
Chair, if you can allow us, we are going to establish that one, Chair, during our current audit.
That should be within the scope of your current audit. Okay. Governor, did you do any task forces verification on the pending bills to get to this balance? And is this balance disputed, or you have accepted it?
When we got in, we established a pending bills task force, that I remember very well.
So you agree with the closing balance of 361 million as your pending bill?
Yes, Chair.
Was it 361? Or I'm reading a different amount? 465.
465, 180.
So the 465 is an amount that you have verified and that you have taken full responsibility over?
Yes.
And Chair, if I look at this annexure 5A, the document is not paginated, but there are some pending bills to do with the salary deductions going to LAP fund and LAP trust. Governor, if you don't pay these amounts deducted for LAP fund, LAP trust for the year 2021, 2022, and the next one also 2021, 2022, that is 13 million. Those officers who are retiring, how do you expect them to be paid their gratuity? Number two, there are pending bills incurred for advertisement service. On that same page that I'm referring to, one by Standard Group Limited, financial year 2022-2023, September, 180,000. Why can't you pay these small pending bills? Do you still need them to be verified? Because if it was advertisement, then that advert would be on the papers. Are you disputing that service was given to you by the Standard Media Group? The other one was by National Media Group. Sorry, I'm getting old, I can't read well. I think I need to look for glasses. A dating card in 2022-2023, 248,000 for the National Media Group. You are not paying them. Why? Do you still need verification?
And can you respond to that? I will let my CFO respond to that.
As earlier recorded, we had accepted the bill of 465 million, verified by pending bill committee. And as at now, we have settled 208 million, remaining with a balance of 108, which we are still paying based on first in, first out basis.
If it was in, first out basis, then it means whatever you've paid out of these 200 something million must have been incurred before the financial year 2021-2022. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's the case.
So that if you look at the schedule of the payments that are done, and you are using the principle of FIFO, then the pending bills are not incurred before this? No, after this? They are before?
Yeah, that's the case, because this remaining balance of 108, we have carried forward to the current financial year. Which
I'm asking if I look at the schedule of the pending bills you've paid, they will they'll have been incurred before 2021-2022 and not after. Saying it under oath? because the governor is under oath. Because after this, then when you're doing our reports, I will look at the schedule of the payments that you've stated.
Yes, Salam.
Auditor, I can trace 465, but I can't trace 134 million, which you have stated was the opening balances in annexures 2 and 4. Could you point me to the 134? Because in my view, the pending bills at the beginning of the year are understated. Where is 134 coming from?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The 134,884,756 related to other pending accounts payables. In the financial statements, it's contained in Annex 4.
Annex 4 goes all the way up to page 240, isn't it?
Of the financial statements of the report of the Auditor General.
I'm looking at Annex 2 is the detailed schedule. Annex 3 is pending staff payables. Annex 4 is other pending payables, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
So if you go to the end of that report, I'm looking for the 134 that you're referring to. Because the grand total is 364. And that's why I'm surprised when the county says they accept those numbers, and yet their detailed schedule has got a different conclusion. Auditor.
Yes, Chair. I can confirm the amount of standing balance at the financial year 23-24 was 361,750,995.
No, remember you're dealing with opening balances. So we look at the original amount, isn't it? Rather than...
Yes, Chair. I can confirm the amount in question was the opening balances, and that was at 1st July 2023 now.
Yes.
This one was for the closing balance.
So where is this 134 you are referring to coming from?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The 134 million in question can be contained now in the previous audit statement, the annexures being brought forward, but we can, given a few minutes, we can find it out.
But we just discussed that in the morning.
Yes.
That the balance you close at 30th of June midnight should be the balance you open on 1st of July.
It's true, Chair. That is it. The closing balance by 30th of June should be the same balance in the first subsequent day, which will be 1st July.
Yes, so this report has got 465 million and 364 million in annexures 2 and 4. But you referred to 134 million in annexure 4. Where is the problem? County, you understand these financial statements better. You can help the auditor, but the auditor is my advisor.
Yes, Chair, maybe let's look at note 3 to the financial statements in the page 41. The balances brought forward were 134,884,756. Additions by the county during the year was 229,215,391. Amounts paid by the county during the year were 2,349,152. So when you do the reconciliation, balances now carried forward as other pending payables amounted to 361,750,995.
361,750.
Now at the end of the financial year.
So at the beginning was 134.
Yes, Chair. 134.
Shouldn't that be supported by Annex 4?
Other pending payables.
Yes, Chair. Annex 4 refers to now. Annex 4 refers to the composition of the 361,750,995 at the end of the financial year. But the supporting documentation for the 134,884,756 can be found in the previous financial year, the closing balance. Yes, Chair.
The message is your reports should not just speak to auditors, and it should not just speak to accountants. It should speak to the public. We need to have, perhaps we need to push for a popular version of your reports.
Yes, Chair, that is noted, and we.
But even before we get there, make sure your reports can speak on their own without someone having to go through detailed schedules. So, Senator Lelelit?
Chair, I draw your attention to Annexure 5A. Chair, when you see that annexure, that there are about 4 or 5 companies that were contracted on 31st May 2021, and I can read construction of male.
Annexure 5A on the governor's?
Yes.
Okay.
Construction of male and female ward block at Losuk Dispensary. Construction of staff house block at Marti Government of Kenya Dispensary. Construction of Lodungokwe Health Center Laboratory Block. Construction of South Hor Health Center Laboratory Block. Construction of dispensary and sanitary block at Lodwa. That contract was awarded in May, or those contracts were awarded in May 2021, and I can see the status of that pending, those pending bills. They are still outstanding, and the governor has just said that they have paid, and they have had a task force to look at those pending bills. So are these genuine pending bills, or they are not genuine? That's the reason why you've not paid that pending bill.
Governor?
CFO, answer that.
Thank you, Chairman. Those pending bills were verified by the Pending Bills Committee. When they were doing verification, those projects were not in place. And that's why they are not paid up to date. And we have that. Maybe you can provide for that Pending Bill Committee report so that we can support what I'm saying.
You are saying that they are not valid claims?
Yes. Upon verification,
yeah,
they are not valid claims.
So you understand you are proceeding to accrual basis where pending bills will be treated as liability. So why are you still keeping them in your books if you have established that they are not payable?
What we have done, now that we are going to accrual basis, will clear off those pending bills, having already terminated those contracts.
What process will you use to do that? Because I thought it was the verification that would then lead you to a write-off.
Yes, that's why I said we had a pending bill committee which verified, and they saw that those projects were not in place. So we used that report to terminate those contracts and maybe write off those.
I don't think you understood me. Those ones are still in your register as accounts payable. When you include them in your register, the Auditor General will be asking for what happened. For them to exit, it's either through payment or through a verification exercise. Isn't it? Those are the only 2 ways they can exit this report. And you have said you have verified they are not payable. So the only other way for them to exit is through? Yes. So yes. What is the strategy to ensure that whatever is ineligible does not sit as a liability in your books?
Now that these projects are not done and they are not in place, we are going to write off them, all of them, in our books of accounts.
Auditor General, what is your advice to the Executive.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, we shall have to review the report of the committee that verified these pending bills, and then find the valid reason why they were not paid. One, if the project was not in existence, if documentation was not speaking to the transactions, and then thereafter, that's when we can confirm that they were not payable, and the right recommendations were provided. And before they write them off, they have to inform either the contractor or the supplier in question to avoid the litigations, because it might be forced, actually they might be forced, the suppliers or contractors might be forced also to fight back. So those are the documentations that we may require to confirm before the write-offs are done, Chair.
Chair, if
before Senator Lugo, the risk you run is, yesterday a governor said that that schedule is the Auditor General's schedule. Senator Omogen, you recall, where a governor said that that schedule you were told by the Auditor General to provide it that way. This schedule must be the counties, not the OAGs. So you must also facilitate and communicate properly to ensure that these liabilities are reduced. I don't know whether what you have said, that procedure has been communicated to counties in writing on how to write down their invalid claims.
I think, Chair, that one should be guided by the National Treasury, as is to confirm what they have done.
I don't think so. The National Treasury has a separate verification task force for county and it does not cover county governments.
Because we have, Chair, we have the subject matters. One of the subject matters we have for the county governments is the pending bills that we are going to ascertain, because we are now moving to the IPSAS accrual. We have given it as a subject matter, so we are going to do so much audit on the same before we conclude and confirm that they have moved the right liabilities as the payables to the next financial year, which will be now reporting under the accrual basis, Chair. So we have a lot of work to do on the same as a subject matter on the pending bills. So we may require a lot of documentation on the same.
Okay.
And at that particular time, that's when maybe we can be able to give our advice on the same, because we are going back for the audit.
Senator Lelelit, sorry, I cut you short.
Yeah, Chair, I believe why we have these pending bills in that list that is provided by the county government is because there was a committee that was established. They did their work, they verified, and they found that what is listed here are genuine pending bills that the county government need to pay. So my question was, why do you pay for pending bills for 2023 as in that list, 2024, before clearing those, the ones I've just read out?
Through the chair, it's good to note that some of the projects for financial years, like for example 2022-2023 or 2023-2024, sometimes are not pending bills until the financial year is closed. We do provision of pending bills in the month of April when we are doing the budget cycle. So we provide for that pending bills during that time. So some of the projects are not completed, but they will appear in the next financial year because we only pay something that has been completed. So they end up being in the next report of the next financial year, but the award of that pending and the award of that project was on the initial year. So that is why you'll find that when we have that report, we'll find that there's pending bills of previous years, but you know, we only pay when the works have been completed.
We expect OAG in your audit to do a much more comprehensive report and a better analysis on this matter, particularly the aging aspect and also the write down of ineligible bills, by providing guidance.
Chair, I think what we have as a pending bill, or what we define as pending bill, is when you have issued a certificate of payment. So how do you say some of the contracts, some of the projects have not been completed, and this is a pending bill of 2021?
I did not say that. You didn't get me. Sometimes they will appear in the next financial year because in the year that they were supposed to be paid, the projects were not completed. So they will appear, of course, when they have been completed and certificate issue. So you'll find that the certificate issue will be in the current year. They have completed the works. So you'll find that the initial, when they were given the contract, was on those years, and that is the difference. And you'll have those, and that's why we'll always have pending bills from other years that are being paid in the current years.
So, what is the reason why those pending bills are not paid? Is it because you don't have the budget, or the projects are not there completely?
Which I'm getting to understand now. This is 2021. If I'm please help me if I'm quoting you correctly. These projects of 2021 were not there, and the pending bills committee. Let me continue from there. So I think if that is correct, then you don't pay something that's not there.
Yeah, this pending bills committee was established immediately after the governor took over the office. Their main purpose was to establish the pending bills that are eligible and those that are not eligible. So according to their report, they said these bills are not eligible for payment.
They here?
Yeah.
Why are these bills here then?
They are here, but we have not paid.
Why? Why are they here if they are not eligible?
Now, that one now was the purpose of the committee.
Yeah.
The auditors had advised on how to take them off, so maybe we should follow the advice on how to remove them. I don't think that's the correct word you used. They said.
Let me give directions to the auditor, but I'd already given directions that those procedures need to be clearly communicated because we are going to accrual basis, and this form part of your stock of liabilities. And so if something is not supposed to be a liability, it needs to be out of that register. I don't know whether there's any other observation. So,
is the county attorney here? Governor? Governor, is your county attorney here?
Right here.
Yeah, because there is a point you are told by the auditor, and you need to be very careful. The way you will disengage or terminate these contracts can expose you to some legal liability. So please, county attorney, make sure that you strictly follow the law. If you can, have a mutual separation so that you don't make it antagonistic, they take you to court, because it will actually increase the liability to the county government. And the ones that you think are genuine, Chair, you know you are here, you saw what Makueni was doing. They do evaluation and a certain work done, and the contractor agrees, this is what I've done, pay me, we part ways. I like the way Makueni is doing. Maybe you could speak to Governor Mutula to guide you what he's doing with these pending bills where there is no capacity to continue undertaking the contract. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, I just take you back to this question for one more last, for one time. One, I want to ask the county government whether Lodungokwe Health Center Laboratory exists.
Is it in the annexures?
Yeah, it's Annexure 5A. The same
Annexure 5?
projects, yeah, 5A.
You referred to?
Is Lodungokwe Health Center exist? Does it exist?
You said law?
Lodungokwe Health Center Laboratory.
It does not exist.
It does not exist. What about Southwell Health Center Laboratory? Does it? Is it an existing laboratory?
No, it's not there.
CEO Health is here.
Senator, just to ensure we're on the same page, Lodunok OPD.
Yeah, this project. Let me see.
Okay. The font is very, very small.
So this from female and male construction. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. Because I want us to refer to what is before us.
has asked if these projects exist.
Or these are the ones you are querying? Yeah, Governor, you are responding.
Chair, I was asking the existence of these projects. Male and female ward block at Losuk Government of Kenya Dispensary. 2, staff house block at Marti Government Dispensary. Lodumokwe Health Center Laboratory, Southward Health Center Laboratory, and dispensary and sanitary block at Lodua.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I can confirm that Lodumokwe Laboratory is not there. Losuk male and female ward is there, but constructed last financial year. Then Southern Laboratory is also not there. Sanitary block at Lodua is there. And also Marti Health Center Staff House is also there. Thank you.
Senator?
So it means these projects are there. So why do you claim that these are not genuine pending bills if the projects are there?
As CEO Health has alluded, there are some projects that were constructed last financial year. Like Losuk, maybe you can clarify, like Losuk, it was constructed last financial year.
Can you just respond directly? I want us to, because it's going to 6. I don't like this idea of tossing it to somebody else. It's a very clear, the Senator has asked, why are they here? And I think explaining that should be very easy. You don't need to toss it to somebody else. Why are they here? Perhaps it's work in progress?
Chair, they have just informed us that 3 of these projects are existing projects completed and maybe in use, but they have not paid the contractors who did this work back in 2021. They've also informed the committee that these are not genuine bills, so I don't know what position to adopt as a committee.
This is what I'm getting. When we got in, we had a pending bills committee, which had these things as pending bills. I mean, there were claims of pending bills. But I think the Senator should also have this, the CEO Health saying that these projects were not there, but they were constructed in subsequent years. We funded them in other years. They're not, and I think they already paid. Those ones that we did when I was the governor.
When your officer says they are not there, what I hear...
Some are not there and some are there.
What I hear is that it is an non-existent project.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
That's what it means.
So if it's an existing project, why is it on the schedule?
I have no idea. That one you can answer. I don't know.
Now, as that immediately after the transition, these projects were not in place. That's why they were not paid. Because the committee recommended they are not eligible for payment because they are not there. And now the county government budgeted in subsequent year for those projects and they are already paid for.
If the committee said that these projects are not eligible for payment, why do you put them in the list of pending bills?
Now, according to the auditor's report, they said, this was a query from auditors. They said, pending bill of 465 million were not paid as first charge.
Don't go there. We are done with that. We have dispensed with that. Just address the Senator's question. Perhaps it has been answered, but since he has asked it, you need to answer it.
We have already answered that. Because
just restate. It is not for you to decide that. Just restate what you said so that we deal with the doubts.
Were verified by the pending bills committee. And they said that these projects are not eligible for payment at that time. Yes.
Did the verification, the committee that did verification of the pending bills?
You know,
For us to make progress, maybe, Chair, I propose...
Senator and Governor and your team, that question has been asked, and I've asked it in a different language. And Senator Mogeni has even given the final guidance to the county attorney to ensure proper disengagement. Can you just give those direct answers? Because this, I don't know why your chief officer is trying to be clever. I have had that answer. Just give that answer. Then we move on to the next issue. I have heard it. The senator didn't hear it. Just restate it so that we move. I don't want a conflict where none exists. Governor?
I've already stated that.
Can you repeat it?
I'm repeating.
Yes.
That what we did, we got these pending bills when we inherited the office. The governor established pending bills committee, which verified these bills. And they recommended that these bills are not eligible for payment as of then.
My friend, that is a question that the senator is asking, and there's an answer that we have already dealt with here that I want you to say, unless, I'm getting a bit frustrated, because I've heard it said, the senator perhaps didn't hear it, is asking why they are there and yet they are ineligible. What you're supposed to tell us is, yes, they are ineligible, but there is this process of transition to accrual that will require us to clean it up. Isn't that what we said? What is so difficult in responding to the senator with that kind of accuracy? It's not for me to respond to my colleague, it is for you to give the answers. Can we put that on record so that we close this matter and proceed? Mr. CEO, because you might be my first hostile witness today. Can you answer the question of the senator and give him the assurance of the processes that you're going to take to address that concern?
Thank you, Chair. As a county, we are planning to write off.
Well, let me say, we'll give the senator the assurance that we will follow the auditor's advice and the chairman advice to clean up those pending bills that do not exist that are still in this report. I hope I've answered.
I wondered why that was very difficult to state, and yet we have 1,000 things to deal with. Senator Cherage.
Chair, maybe I have seen a number of pending bills. There are some national government functions. On these instances, was there an agreement before you undertook some of these national government functions?
Give an example, Senator. So
like classrooms, like dormitory, like teachers' houses. It is part of your annexures, 5A, CEO. No, but there are others like the classrooms, construction of classrooms in Naimaral Primary.
I think those bills related to defunct local authorities, which the bills that we inherited from.
Can I give you like one? This construction of classroom in Lukwasi Primary was done in 2022. Was the municipal still existing in SAMBURU? Or SAMBURU are yet to transit?
I want to assure you that even the government that was there before us, and even now, we don't construct primary school classes. Maybe the way it is restated here, usually most of our ECDs are within the primary school. So the person may be writing there, or the way it is written is different. But I can show you 100% that no time as Samburu County, even before I came in, we verified that, Senator.
Let me give you construction.
Let me just finish. Lukwasi is a primary school. When you do ECDs that are part of that school, maybe it is named after the school, but the real classroom is utilized by ECD students.
Governor, unless you are telling me the Samburu children who are in ECD level can sleep in a boarding school? Because you have construction of dormitory in Lulu Primary.
No, Chair, I can confirm in the case of Swari and Naimara, the ECD is constructed, the county government constructed ECD within in the compound of the primary school.
Which is mostly the case, but why does the county entity be specific? Because some people can, and I'm using, in fact, they have left the construction of dormitory in Lulu Primary. Does it mean your ICT children in Samburu sleep in dormitories? No, that is. So then why are you doing national? And I've asked a simple question, Governor. Is there an agreement between national government and you before you do a national government function? We have seen, for example, in Narok, where they gave us evidence of that partnership. In this case of Lulu Primary Dormitory, was there an agreement? And this was done in 2022, way back 10 years after municipality. Governor? No, 2013. It was done in 2022. No. And I'm using your records. This dormitory of Lulu Primary, I don't believe it belongs to ECD.
We don't construct dormitories. That I can assure you. And
we
have not even asked for. I know what you're doing now with the bursaries for something that is done by the other level of government. When you want to do, you request for kind of permission.
But Governor, I'm just asking a very simple way. On this Lulu Primary Dormitory, was there an agreement between the national government and you to do that?
There was no agreement. What was there? The county government did not construct.
So somebody who prepared this document, imagine that senators are busy and they will not go through item by item, and they present to mislead us. Who prepared this document, Governor? Chief Officer?
Chair. The Governor, I'm just riding on your question.
Yes.
This project has been paid for. There is no pending bill for that project. Lulu Primary School dormitory, 1 million shillings. I think the reason why it has been paid may be because the project is complete.
But you are not taking a national government.
Does it mean it belongs to the ECDE or the primary school?
We have the CC education here. Maybe we can go on record.
And tell us if these city children in Samburu sleep in the dormitory. I'm really interested. But the point,
Senator, it's very possible. Samburu is not as saying, and you know, this is partially I will do. Maybe at some point, if need be, an ECD for. A dormitory for ECD students. Our people keep moving.
So you can have a dormitory for ECD
in I can do that.
And you don't know.
No, I'm saying this one is not there, but I'm just saying.
But it was paid.
If the CC will answer that one. Oh. I'm only answering you that it is possible. I'm answering directly your question. It is possible.
I agree.
It is possible in a place like Samburu.
I agree.
To do a dormitory for ECD so that our people who move from place to place can leave their children. We feed ECDs, we do everything, they can leave their children. We've not done yet, but I'm just saying that's a possibility in Samburu.
Then we don't work with possibilities.
Can we allow
with reality?
The education person to clarify so that we can make progress?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am on record to state that we don't do dormitories for ECD children. While that is the case, it is also possible for ECD children to be boarders because of the nature and the realities within Samburu.
Chair, let us not work with imaginations. We work with realities. My simple concern is that, Governor, does it mean you have excess money until you have allocated yourself powers to do national government functions? And you know there is transfer under the Constitution on transfer of functions. So my only concern is why would you do a national government function without a proper legal framework? And on this case, I'm just giving this an example, construction of dormitory in Lulu Primary. And I want to believe, Chair, in closing, is The person who prepared this documentation, the managed senators are so busy. And the intent was to mislead this committee. And therefore, since we have always written to ISPAC, because this is not number 20 in financial statements, we must write to ISPAC to punish the Chief Officer of Finance with an intention to mislead a committee with the same powers as the High Court. And this is the contempt against this committee. I submit, Chair.
Okay, I think the point is made. Senate, just take the concerns and then I'll allow you to respond.
Yeah.
Senator Maruma.
CC education, we are moving around the country, looking at the implementation of ECDs and VTCs with the Senate Education Committee. When we come to Samburu, please take us to Lulu Primary School. I want to see that dormitory and whom it is serving, if it is the primary school or the secondary school.
Governor?
Chair, I just want to say, and I wish the senator would listen to me. He's on the phone.
No. The Senate is active. Okay. It's going to go unanswered.
Well, I'm just getting from my CFO, and I'm not taking away what you've said. You can do the same things you've said. I'm not taking away that. But from him, I just heard this thing is recorded incorrectly because it was constructed in 2013. That is when the local authority was still functional. So the year of record here is incorrect. That's what I'm getting from
Yeah,
you. That we need to confirm.
So it is a valid observation. It's just that the timing.
Yes, I'm just making a statement. I'm not saying.
No, I think the governor accepts.
You are not the one who is the author of this document. It is your chief officer. But it is wrong.
Members,
ISPAC must discipline the chief officer with an intent of material misleading of the committee.
Definitely, we shall make the necessary recommendations. Auditor General, when you look at that schedule, please ensure that we don't have national government projects there. And if they're there, insist on an intergovernmental agreement.
Chair, one more project, payment of construction and fencing works for Archer's Post Slaughterhouse. Date contracted 20th May 2023, amount 7.8 million. The status of the pending bill not yet paid. What are the reasons why that slaughterhouse has not been paid? Is it existing?
Governor?
Sure, the existence of the project, I cannot confirm here because we don't have our livestock person here today.
What about Chief Officer Finance? Really? If there's a pending bill and there are people who are coming for their money, they should be knowing. I don't know, is this...
Yeah, is there a slaughterhouse? Is there a slaughterhouse contracted by the county government at Archer's Post? In 2023, contract amount is 7.8 million, not yet paid to date.
Mr. Chairman, the project is not there.
So it is also... By the way, Chair, let me ask a simple question.
We might lose this.
Yes.
Whatever you're referring to, has it been paid?
No, still pending.
How much is pending?
7.8.
And the chief officer says the project is not there. So when you say it is not there, what do you mean?
But the pending bill is there.
By the time the committee was verifying this project, it's not there and it's not existing in it.
So it is an ineligible, claim?
Bill, yeah.
It is an ineligible claim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Chair, if it is an eligible claim, how do you allow it to be part of your pending bills? Because then somebody must have claimed, must have taken the documents. One of the officers within that team must have taken the documents, and those documents must have reached IB, and you wanted to pay, and then maybe there was no money. How can that happen under your
Senator, if something is flagged and eligible for payment, I don't understand the techniques of accounting, but if something is flagged ineligible to pay, it will never be paid forever. So what point does it make to us to discuss?
But Governor, why do you have it in your pending bill? If it's not eligible...
The CFO can answer, but it is already flagged that it's ineligible to pay, so it will never be paid. You can answer the rest.
How does it find its way up to IB to become a pending bill? How?
And for a pending bill of a project in 2023 to appear in this report, then it must have been a pending bill that you carried forward 2024 and now 2025. That's why it's here.
What's the date of that bill, Senator?
20th May 2023.
And
20th May 2023. So it's not the things it's not the mess you have inherited. That is a current
mess.
20th May 2023, that was within the financial year. So if it is not there, how then do you have a charge of 7 million on it?
And this has not been paid. How many other fictitious
bills
have you paid?
I thought it was a 2013, 2014 thing. You know, that one I would have said we move on. But this is a 2023 May, current financial year.
Slaughterhouse. I've got it.
If these fictitious bills can find their way to...
So if you prepare the financial statements and attach this schedule, and then you come to Senate and confidently tell us that that project does not exist, what does it tell about the accuracy and completeness of this? I would have excused 2013, 2014, but not 2023. Put on, now you don't want to speak on the mic.
That one I'll revise to Head of Treasury, because he's the one who prepares these schedules.
Does the Head of Treasury report to you?
Yes.
Then why would you toss back? You are the man where the buck stops.
But he can help.
He can help.
No, you take an oath.
But still see your finance. Don't you go through these documents?
Chair, let me ask a simple question. Governor, do you take this proceeding seriously?
Of course, that's why I'm here. Why do you talk? I want to ask kindly through the chair, my Head of Treasury to respond on these questions that some of us are.
Okay, let's give him the mic so that he deals with the specific issue of the slaughterhouse. Where is the officer? He has disappeared. Governor, you have been abandoned by your troops. He disappeared immediately the slaughterhouse was mentioned.
Look for him, it could be another table.
You know, honorable members, let me...
On a more serious note, okay?
Okay, Senator Maruma.
On a more serious note, Chief Officer, and I come from a county government, when people are coming for their payments, Chief Officer, you are one of the people, and CEC, and even Governor, who are pushed to allow payments. Are you telling me, Chief Officer, you don't know that there is a slaughterhouse offense in Achas Post? Ambayo watu wanadai. Are you saying you don't know? Are you feigning ignorance? CEC, contractors all the time are coming. Lakini hii imenyamaza tu. Assuming now you had enough money, you'd have paid. And I'm saying, how many other fictitious pending bills have you paid? Because they are there. These are red flag, Chair.
This is Simon, the company that is being owed. Simon Enterprises Limited, they were being 2.9 million for metallic livestock sale yard at Longwen. Is that existing, Chief Officer? Be on record, Governor.
Pronounce the name correctly.
It is Simon Enterprises 2.9 million payment for construction of metallic livestock at sale yard at Longwen.
Where?
Longwen.
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 You're up now, you should pronounce these things correctly.
But that is not beside the point.
Senator Cherargei, you run the risk of diluting the other thing that...
No, I wanted to show that this same company, there is some consistent, this same company is the one being owed 7.8 million for constructing an existing payment for construction and fencing works for Archers Post Slaughterhouse. And when you go through, this company is recurring in many occasions, Simon. So maybe they are linked with the officers of county government.
It could be the Trojan horse.
Correct.
Is your officer here, Governor?
The treasury person was in this building. I want to make a call.
Where is he?
You had an emergency you had to fix?
I'm told he's already left home, unfortunately, and he was here.
Now, I'm going to, honorable members.
But you know, I cannot keep him in my pocket. He was here.
This is a point where we have to make certain decisions. This, we had made an earlier invitation. I've just asked the clerk to check the records. The reason why we are having this meeting this late in the day is because our earlier invitation for a meeting, the county sought a postponement, which we granted. And because of constitutional timelines, which are cited to the chair of the Public Accounts Committee of the Assembly, we were obliged to reschedule a meeting so that it falls within the constitutional timelines. It fell on this day today in the afternoon. But you will agree with me, honorable members, that ordinarily, even when the House is sitting, by 6:30, the House rises. The pace and approach that we have taken at this point will not allow us to prosecute the remaining issues in the next 10 minutes. Because for us to move to the next issue, then the head of Treasury must be produced. And I'm told he has already left the building. I am going to propose at this point, honorable members, that we adjourn, but there are a lot of things that are still pending in the reports before us, and including in the receiver of revenue statement. I think we have done 3, but maybe because of the time we have started and energy levels are low, honorable members, I think for us to do justice to the people of Samburu, and for us to ensure that we live up to our expectations of a house that is fair when it comes to oversight and scrutiny, we will adjourn and we will set another date within July or once we come back from recess for us to process the residual matters.
Yeah, before
Senator
Chalarke, what is the fate of this 7.8 million? If by the time they are coming back they have paid, why don't you rule that the A.C. picks up this or DCI so that it becomes easy? Because we might come back and it has been paid. This 7.8
and Chair, the CEO, the Chief Officer Finance, he said the project is not there, it's not existing. So I want to ask him. So I want to ask him if the company that was awarded the contract, does it exist?
It exists. It's called Simon Enterprises Company Limited.
Yes, it exists. Simon Enterprises Limited.
The people are complicit from the procurement officers down to the CC.
Yes.
All of them are complicit.
Yeah. Chair, rule of this.
No, I think it would be proper that when we resume this sitting at the next meeting, that would be the first matter that we'll have to deal with. How a project, there's a claim on it, and yet you have said on oath that it does not exist. And I hope that the particular fella who was expected to explain that will be present. So, honorable members, I don't think that that point will be lost. We'll have the minutes. We'll be able to carry it forward to the next sitting. And we hope that we can have our meetings early enough so that we can do justice to these reports on behalf of the people of Samburu and on behalf of the Senate in its entirety. Yes, I'll allow you to say something. I'll just don't. So on the side of the senators, I believe that we can leave it at that because I don't think there's much that we can say conclusively at this point.
Chair, and I propose next time when they appear before the committee, they should give us eligible or something we can see. The annexures, as you can see, you are not able to read Annexure 5A.
Yeah, I believe the quality should improve.
Yeah, and also an aging analysis of the pending bills from 2013, 2014, 2015 up to the latest 2023, 2024.
Yeah, and we should take a date probably in July before, in the next one, before early July, so that before we resume the normal sitting, we report back to the House, because the issues in Samburu are looks very serious. So
yeah, definitely. We will schedule with priority. Of course, we'll look at our existing schedule, and then we'll agree on a date for that appearance.
This is fairly unique, Chair, because we have adjourned quarterly. Is it possible we give Governor a date today?
Unfortunately, with the calendar of Parliament, you have other committees also calling governors to the Senate. In May, when we expected the governor to appear before us, I noted that he appeared before the Education Committee, but gave an excuse and didn't appear before this committee. So that's a risk of setting a date. I want the clerks to do a proper assessment to ensure that the entity does not use the excuse that they've been called into another committee. But the principle is we shall, upon resumption of recess, we shall establish a date early enough for us to conclude this matter before the next substantive audit is concluded.
So, Chair, I think since the meeting is just adjourned, then there is no need of making closing remarks or anything else.
Yes, I don't see the need of making closing remarks. I'll ask the governor to say, if the governor wanted to say something in closing, and then I'll ask the senator to do the closing remarks on our behalf, all of us. So, Governor.
Okay. So I want first of all to say I apologize for the head of Treasury not being here at this time. He was supposed to be here. He was in the building. I spoke with him. I just don't know why he disappeared. So I'm really sorry about that. The next thing I want to say is that, Senator, you stated it very correctly. We have so many appearances of the Senate, just like any other county. I'm not saying there is anything special about Samburu. On roads, we have an invitation. On education, we have an invitation. So I want to agree with you that to set a date here, it could probably conflict with those other dates, plus other things that we do in the counties. I don't know, somehow, the brief I got from this appearance today is not an ordinary audit issues appearance, according to what we are given from the auditor. It was actually to update the committee on what we've done according to the recommendations that were given. That is what appeared to us. But it looks like we ran today just like ordinary audit. So I wanted to ask whether we should be following these instructions that are given to us, that we have ordinary audit sittings, then you have a follow-up from the Senate where we are only allowed, we are only supposed to update the Senate on what actions we have taken. Because it was very clear that this was an action-taken meeting, not an ordinary. I just want us, from the chair, to give us a direction on those two, whether we'll be appearing for audit when we have an audit report out and we have to answer everything on the audit, and that's fine. When we were asked to come here to report on the actions, whether we go back to the audit and do the same thing all over again, because it seems that's what we've done. I am asking for direction so that we can be able to be, we can be more equipped when we come, when we appear before you guys.
I think that's a very fair request to make, because for clarity, in March, we asked you to submit written responses. It was self-reporting. And it was on the basis of your written responses that we took recommendations to the House. We did not have an opportunity to interrogate the evidence and records that were attached to your written responses. We assumed that what you said was the truth. You noticed that your written responses were not accompanied by sworn affidavits. Today, you are here on oath. It is an approach that we have tried this financial year, but we have seen it is not working. Self-reporting is not working. So in the next financial year, we shall go back to the traditional approach of proper interrogation. We thought that if you gave you the opportunity to self-report, things would move faster. But you can see that more questions arise later. So I hope, having been in Parliament, you understand where we are coming from. And I do agree with you that this approach is not the most efficient. We shall go back to the traditional approach. So I hope that makes it clear, Governor. Okay. That was the end of your statement? Okay, so on the behalf of the committee, Senator Lelelit, fine. There being no other business, we adjourn, and we hope that at our next meeting, we will set the right tone, we will be in the right mood, because when we do oversight, it is never personal. It is never about the governor, it is never about the senator. And I will say it again, No one forces you to have a love affair or a love relationship amongst the senator, the governor, and the members of parliament. But the people you must love are the people that you represent.
Thank you, Chair.
That is where you should be joined at the hip. But otherwise, let's make sure that whatever we do, it is not personal, it is institutional, and it is for the good of the people that we represent. And when the governor does something positive, we will not hesitate to commend him for that. So far, we have not come across it, but we hope we'll come across it. And when the senator does something positive, let us also acknowledge it and give him his flowers as it's due. This meeting is adjourned. The committee meets tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.